Welcome. You're tuned into Tangled Threads. If you're digging our content, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you. Found my wife's hidden Apple Watch, and oh boy, Reddit cheating revenge. So, it's been an absolute wild ride these past few weeks, and I thought I'd share the insanity with you guys. Let me take you on a journey of infidelity, Apple products, and the mystery of Dave. My wife recently got a shiny new Apple Watch, and I was like, cool, fitness stuff. Or maybe she's just keeping up with the tech trend. But what was weird is she never flaunted it or left it casually around the house. Every time she took it off, it was like a game of Where's Waldo. One day, while I was trying to be the good husband by putting up laundry, the Apple Watch slipped out of her jacket pocket. Lo and behold, it was like destiny was saying, "Dude, check this out." Curiosity piqued, I decided to check what this little device was all about. You know, just to see how it works and stuff. Then, bam! A wild text message appeared, and the sender? A dude named Dave. My first thought was, who the actual fuck is Dave? It felt like I was diving into the Mariana Trench of betrayal as I scrolled through their chats. Their little secret rendezvous, the emotional exchanges, and all the trash talk about how hard it was to budget money. Which was weird because we're doing pretty good financially. Then the cherry on the shit sundae? I found receipts in her email for hotel bookings around our area. She was paying for these little escapades. I mean, what the hell? I do my best to keep the flame alive, shower her with love, gifts, and mind-blowing bedroom sessions. Yeah, pat on the back for me. Yet she's out there funding motel adventures with Dave, the apparently broke Casanova. I'm beyond livid, and let me tell you, things are about to get explosive. The world will tremble, and when the smoke clears, there'll be only one man standing. Me. I promise I'll come back with an update. Stay tuned, this storm is just brewing. Here are a few responses that he received. Response 1. Dude, unleash the beast. I cannot even fathom the amount of anger and betrayal you must be feeling. But remember, use that anger productively. Get all your evidence, lawyer up, and make sure she doesn't see a dime. And as for Dave, maybe it's time he gets a little surprise visit. Just remember to keep your cool and don't do anything that'll land you in jail. We're with you, man. Response 2. Oh, hell no. This is the kind of thing that's pure movie-level treachery. I mean, she's not even discreet about it. Gathering evidence is essential, so keep that watch safe and get screenshots of everything. Make her regret the day she ever met that scumbag Dave. And while you're at it, maybe the world needs to know exactly what kind of man Dave really is. All's fair in love and war, right? Get him, Tiger. Response 3. Hey man, I'm really sorry you're going through this, but before you do anything drastic, maybe consider talking to her. It's entirely possible there's an explanation. I've seen so many relationships end because of misunderstandings. Keep a clear head, communicate, and remember you once loved her enough to make her your wife. There could be more to this story than meets the eye, sending you hugs and positive vibes. Here is his update. Are you out of your damn mind or smoking something? Misunderstanding? This isn't some silly romantic comedy where the twist is that my wife has an evil twin. This is real life. I won't play the fool. For your information, I decided to dig deeper into Dave's world. After some online stalking, I discovered the bastard was married with 3 kids. My heart sank and anger surged. Great, so not only is my wife cheating, she's a homewrecker too? I found out Dave's wife was the manager of a coffee shop across town. Without hesitation, I drove straight there. The smell of roasted beans hit me as I walked in, but that wasn't why I was there. It wasn't too busy, and I approached the counter, asking for the manager. A woman came out. I looked her in the eyes and asked, "Are you Dave's wife?" She looked puzzled but nodded. "We need to talk," I said, guiding her to a secluded corner table. She looked understandably nervous as we sat. "Has Dave been acting weird lately?" I asked. She seemed taken aback, replying that, in fact, not at all weird, but rather he had been in high spirits recently. I muttered to myself, "Of course he has." "Well then, let me show you why," I said, sliding my phone across the table. She scrolled through the damning messages between her husband and my wife. "Who's Alicia?" she whispered, tears forming in her eyes. "That's my wife," I replied. Her hand trembled as she looked at the next piece of evidence. A publicly shared Facebook post from Alicia. A cringe-worthy meme about self-love and letting go and living life and being true to yourself and all that shit. And there, clear as day, was a heart reaction from Dave. "I'm so sorry," I said, feeling a pang of sympathy. She seemed to go through a whirlwind of emotions: anger, sadness, confusion. Without a word, she grabbed her phone and dialed Dave. I tried to intervene, to strategize our next move, but she shushed me with a stern hand. I listened as she put on a sweet facade, asking Dave about his day and when he'd be home. As she hung up, her expression was stone cold. "He's been working late a lot recently," she said. Pulling up the hotel receipts, I asked, "On these days, perhaps?" She checked her own messages, and the timeline fit perfectly. We sat there, united in our grief and anger, formulating the next steps in this tangled web of deceit. So we pooled our contacts, meticulously selecting friends and family we believed should be witnesses to the impending confrontation. I scrolled through my contacts, pausing at names of friends I'd gone on double dates with, family members who had witnessed our vows, and colleagues who'd been regaled with tales of my perfect marriage. Dave's wife, on the other hand, chose friends who had been her pillars during her previous trials, her siblings who were fiercely protective, and even a couple of her close colleagues who knew Dave. With each call, we gave very little away. "Meet us at the Doubletree Hotel at 4 p.m., I'd say, my voice betraying a hint of the storm brewing beneath. "I have something important to share, and I want you to be there." It was an odd request, especially on a weekday, but the gravity in our voices made many agree without hesitation. Surprisingly, our call to action was heeded by nearly everyone. Among the gathered were Alicia's parents, my best friends, and Dave's wife's sisters. Two mutual acquaintances, recognizing each other, whispered in hushed tones, their confusion evident. "Do you know what this is about?" one asked. The other just shook his head, equally in the dark. In the midst of the assembling crowd, I overheard fragments of conversation, wild guesses, and assumptions. Yet none came close to the truth. The anticipation was palpable. The stage was set. The hush of the room was eerie, broken only by the muted chattering of unsuspecting guests and the ambient music emanating softly from hidden speakers. Every eye was trained on the entrance of the hotel lobby, awaiting the entry of the two unwitting players in a plot they didn't yet realize they were a part of. Alicia's entrance, arm in arm with Dave, was a scene ripped from a romance novel. Their laughter, intertwined fingers, and whispered secrets played out under the glaring eyes of those assembled. Her mother's voice pierced the air. "Alicia!" That singular cry reverberated, encapsulating the shock and anguish of a mother betrayed by her child. Confusion played on Alicia's face as her gaze moved across the room. When our eyes locked, hers widened in horror. The recognition was instant. Dave, trying to make sense of the situation, risked a glance in my direction. That was all it took. The bitter mix of rage, pain, and humiliation boiled over. I sprang to my feet, barely noticing as Dave's wife rose alongside me. In a voice that trembled with fury and pain, I demanded, "Alicia, how about you enlighten everyone here on the little secret rendezvous you've been having with Dave?" In the midst of the ensuing silence, Dave's audacity to meet my gaze was the straw that broke the camel's back. Every suppressed emotion, every hurtful memory came flooding back. Without a second thought, I lunged at him, my fists becoming the instruments of my pent-up wrath. We crashed into a decorative plant, sending soil and shards everywhere. Our friends intervened, pulling us apart, but the damage was done. Dave was instantly bruised, and his eye was already starting to turn black. The taste of revenge, albeit short-lived, was oh so sweet. Hotel security arrived in what seemed like mere seconds, their radios crackling with urgency. The police were summoned to the chaotic scene. In the midst of the chaos, bystanders whispered, pointed, and snapped photos. Although no charges were pressed, we were given a stern warning and banished from the hotel. Alicia's mother just cried and cried. Her father was angry with me but never said a word. He just kept his mouth shut and tried to calm his wife down as he stared with utter disappointment at me and Alicia. All of our friends were quicker to leave, but took turns asking both of us if we were okay and if it was safe to go to the same house together alone. I reassured them I would never be violent to Alicia, but that it was over and I was never speaking to her again. Reluctantly, they left, and so did I. The whole drive home was tense. I knew I would be seeing her, just her, in a few minutes. I could not give her 1 ounce of attention. Nothing. It would be seen as weakness, and I was not weak. As soon as I got into the house, she was in the drive. Exiting her car, she ran to me, attempting reconciliation, her eyes puffy and red from crying. "It just happened. I never meant to," she stammered. But I was in no mood to listen. "Live your life, Alicia," I shot back bitterly. "Live your life. Be true to yourself. You know, all that shit you post." She instantly knew I had been skimming her Facebook page and had connected those dots as well. And with that, I slammed the door to our bedroom, putting a solid barrier between us. 30 minutes of crying and sobbing outside my door, and begging to let her in, and to let her explain, had finally gotten the best of me. I mustered a big breath and shouted, "Shut the hell up, you fucking whore!" And with that, all went silent. Finally, I went to sleep. An hour or so later, I woke up. I walked out to the living room to find her asleep on the couch. I went and gathered her things from the closet and the bathroom and dragged it all into the living room floor for her, along with 2 suitcases and a duffel bag. The next morning, I contacted my attorney. After that week, Dave's wife shot me a message stating that she too had filed. Good for her. No one deserves that kind of shit. Anyway, that's it. She will be gone forever soon enough and my life will begin again. Hey, I lived without her for a long time. It won't be too hard to live without her now. That dumb bitch. See y'all. Well, that all ended abruptly. He and Dave's wife certainly did not waste any time, did they? How do you think they did? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threads.